Hello there. Couple of guys daisy fresh after a week in Valhalla in Louisville. Just, 14-hour days on the air. Come on into the studio, fire up the pod, right?
Punching in.
Lots to discuss.
Yeah.
Let's begin with obviously what was the biggest news of the weekend in golf. The big rig has won. Our man Harry Higgs at a Korn Ferry Tour with an unbelievable hole out to get into the playoff. Makes eagle, wins, just got married.
Club flip.
Oh, I mean, club.
So good.
If you guys aren't familiar with the big rig, just get on the Twitter. Look up Harry Higgs, Korn Ferry, winner. Those people are going nuts.
So happy for him, man.
No doubt. Sincerely, that's a guy we like a lot. Shout to the big rig. Not one other podcast will begin with the big rig, but SVPod.
That's why we're here.
That's exactly right. In a crowded space. That's the kind of clarity you're looking for. We spent a week on the ground in Louisville, and the mistake that I don't think is specific to our business, but it happens a lot in our business. When you go to an event, like if game day goes to a big game and you're at the big game, many times it is the biggest event in sports, but where you are, you convince yourself that's the biggest deal because it certainly feels like it. And when you spend a week at a major and it's a big deal and it plays out the way it does, that seems like the biggest thing. Denver collapsing in the second half to Minnesota, is that where we start?
If you want to, yeah, sure.
I mean, we got plenty of golf to discuss.
Yeah.
But the most recent thing as we talk on a Monday morning in my brain is watching a game that appeared, it looked like Denver thought Minnesota was going to quit. It looked like they're up 20. Minnesota can't do anything. In my brain, I'm moving them on. It's Denver, Dallas, Western Conference Finals. And then it was like a slow motion car crash. You could feel it happening. You could see it happening, like a fight where it looks like a guy gets a standing 8, maybe he's knocked out, and then all of a sudden he lands that one punch, and the leader's staggered, and then he lands another one, and now all of a sudden, like, oh, shit, they're going to win. At what point did you think to yourself, Minnesota's winning this series?
I thought they had a great chance when they cut that lead, right? I think it was a Conley 3 that made it a 4-point game. Yeah. Maybe 6.
Well, it was low scoring. Nobody could score. And
you saw what Ant started to do to Murray. He didn't do a thing in the third quarter. They switched him on there. And Jokic ended up 2 of 10. Those threes that he usually hits in a timely fashion weren't there. Porter Jr. was non-existent. And KCP wasn't great. Like, what was it? The rest of the team besides Murray and Jokic had 21 points. Yep. And you saw that starting with that struggle become real in that third quarter. But how fast the Wolves got it out of double digits and down is nothing surprised me. We're talking on the flight home yesterday. You said, is it surprising if both road teams win or won? I was like, definitely think the Pacers are winning.
I asked him. I said, "Does a road team win today?" You said there was no hesitation. You just said Indiana. You were right. But
and then you asked if I would be surprised if Minnesota. I said I would. No, I said I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota did because it's this league. You know what the 3-ball is. I almost think 20-point leads are brutal in the first half because you do get a little nonchalant. And the one thing I will say. There was a ton of Wolves fans in that arena last night.
I know. It was nuts.
I'm trying to catch up on some folded laundry, trying to get my chores done when we get back home.
Huh? How about hubby? Been gone a while. What can I do to help out? That's how you do it, fellas. What fold the laundry?
Guard, and you hear the crowd where I'm like, oh, that's the Wolves. That's the Conley 3.
They had to cheer "Let's Go Nuggets" to drown out the "Let's Go Wolves" chants. I salute to them. Timberwolves fans infiltrated the building. But what was fascinating is an overused word. What was I think illuminating to people was this. Karl Anthony Towns, you don't love him. He was awesome.
He played great last night.
You love Nas? You're right. He was awesome. No one takes more shit than Rudy Gobert. No one. Chuck's going at him at halftime, and with good reason. With good reason. But he's a very convenient punching bag. And then he's out there hitting trick shots, impacting the game. They got every offensive rebound because Jokic was exhausted. They couldn't get a rebound. And so Towns, who people go at, was a star. Nas, who, I mean, he's hardly a secret. He was a sixth man of the year. He's your favorite guy on the team.
Yep.
He was great. But Gobert, you don't want to give him his flowers. I don't care if you give him his flowers or throw him a parade or anything else. But the disrespect that people so casually, easily place at his feet, you got to kind of eat. You got to eat that today, because they don't win if he's not excellent, and he was. And the fatigue of Jokic settling for threes, and he just didn't make them. He makes them so often. He had a couple that got him back to 2, and I kept thinking when it would get to 2, all right, get a stop. They'd get a stop, and then they couldn't get a rebound.
And Denver always, you count on that late game run, right? They've always done it, whether it's Murray, whether it's Jokic getting other guys involved. But again, I go back, people are like, oh, with the usage rate it is with Jokic, and he only had this many assists. It's because guys miss open shots. Like, the other guys weren't there. Look at that stat line. You're trying to tell me you didn't want to play? I figured he was going to play the whole second half, knowing what was at stake. And if he tells Michael Malone that I'm going to play the second half, I would think he's going to play the second half.
And you heard his respect afterwards, just acknowledged what Indiana's got. And they've got, I mean, we haven't even mentioned Ant a ton, but like he hit the three that was I just want to kill everything in front of me. It was a kill shot. He had a kill shot, and he hit it, and he's yelling at everybody that's in his vicinity there. And, I mean, look, I just texted out next because, I mean, everybody that plays hoop knows, like, that bucket goes in, and that whole squad's who's got next, and it's Dallas. And to beat Denver in their building in a game they trailed by 20, the way they did, like, I'm not gonna overreact in this moment and say that's some sort of fatal blow to Denver. It's not. It's wildly impressive to me for a team that, remember when Ant was on with me during that Phoenix series, and I'm asking him about winning the next? He's like, I have no idea. Stop asking me. I don't know. I haven't done it, because they hadn't won. And now they've won a couple series in a row. And I haven't seen the numbers. If they're who's favored in that Dallas series? I assume they are.
Dallas?
No, Minnesota.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how big. I don't know what the number is.
Not as big as the Celtics over the Pacers.
Pacers, I'm sure, are just fine with that. What did Rick Carlisle say? We're the uninvited guests. Mm-hmm. We'll get back to this Minnesota bit in a minute, or the Minnesota-Dallas piece in a second. What did we say about Indiana in the beginning of the playoffs? I asked, are they fun or are they a threat? And the reason that we both said that we felt like they're a threat is because they can do what? Make shots.
Sure.
Now, is it the same in the playoffs? Do you get to play the Wizards on a Tuesday night in February? No, you're playing the Knicks. They shot 67% in Game 7 in the Garden, and that percentage went down after the second half. They scored 39 in the first quarter. Shot charts, whatever, that's outrageous shot making. And that should scare Boston, just because, look, is Indiana going to guard you super aggressively? Not really. Mm-mm. And Boston has the kind of – they could score $140 on Indiana in this series repeatedly. They might, but they might have to. Indiana's ability to do the thing, like the game is making shots. We get from the Lily's level, and you're playing, 10-year-old girls or grown men playing at the highest level in the NBA. Can you make shots? And when it gets hard to make shots, can you make shots? They absolutely can. 67% in that building in a Game 7 where the Garden's ready to go nuts, and they don't get a chance to, man. They put it to bed the first 12 minutes. That's to me, we'll talk about this, like Indiana's house money right now. Mm. They'd never say that. And they don't have to look at it like we can't win. Sure they can, but this is a massive step forward for this group with Halliburton as the obvious leader of that group.
Yeah, I've always I tip my hat to Rick Carlisle. I just always thought he was super buttoned up. When he came to ESPN, he worked, I think, 1 year, like no nonsense. What are my segments? Had his notes, like there was no BSing around. And then you hear stories from guys, when he's an assistant on Larry Bird's staff, and then, being the coach for Dirk and his title. Like, he's a lifer, man. He's a lifer if you know his story and what he was, making that Celtics team, getting cut. I just think about those guys. And in this league where it's so young and so social media based, and you see like an old head of Rick Carlisle,
right,
in charge, and there with a chance to go to the NBA Finals. Like, that's the stuff you just like an everyday life, and Halliburton coming in with the outfits, and it's just Rick Carlisle, and everybody's got the Jim Carrey picture side by side. I'm just really, really happy for him, knowing the time that guy's put in, and super smart guy and a great basketball mind to be able to pull this off, and think about the adversity they were hit with. I mean, they could have been up 0-2 and they're down 0-2.
Yeah, and
back home.
And he didn't overreact to the calls in game one, where there was a clear. They called a kickball, which wasn't. They had a steal and a breakout. Mm-hmm. They end up losing. Then he goes nuts after game two, and everybody's kind of eye rolling, like they got to come back from down that, and they do, and win a game seven because they shot 76% and a half. And the Garden's like, well, that's a wrap. And go ahead.
Dante DiVincenzo had 39 points and 9 threes.
They got
a game seven,
and they got cooked,
and they got it to 8 in the third quarter. That was the wig out session of the Garden. That's the best they had, and it was done
at some point. And it's a monster impact this year in the playoffs. No Giannis for the Bucks. See ya. No Randall for the Knicks. They had overcome that just in the sense that they became who they were. But then you lose Bogdanovich, a shooter. You lose Robinson, who's a length rebound rim protector. More important than you realize, maybe. And then you lose Brunson to a broken hand. Like you're
OG.
Of course, I didn't. And OG Anunoby, who was hurt in this series.
And the record with him in the lineup is as good as there is at the top of the NBA.
Star. He's a star player. You can't absorb those losses and expect to move forward. And so Brunson's asked afterwards, and this always acknowledge Russillo because I think it was his idea. Could have been mine, but always just be collaborative. It's easier. Give credit. Can you have a successful season without winning a title? And Brunson was asked that afterwards, and he was, no, absolutely not. And I appreciate that in New York. Like, we're not here to have a parade for winning a series, but given what they didn't have, let's just give ourselves a little grace here and say, if we're being fair with ourselves, with what we didn't have at our disposal, how the hell are we supposed to win? And guess what? If OG's compromised and Brunson broke his hand and you did win, you're getting absolutely mopped by the Celtics. And you might lose to them if you have all hands on deck, but you didn't. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. The Garden was absolutely alive. They still got the Rangers as they get ready for the Panthers, so you still have that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't know if the best team won, but the team that had the best chance in the next series certainly won, and they were the best team on the floor by a mile on Sunday.
7-game series, you can't have excuses. If it goes 7, it's all hands on deck with what you have at stake.
That's fair.
You won a game after you lost OG, at home.
And it's in your building, and you let them shoot a billion %. Guard somebody, stop a shot. They're shot makers, man. That series of Boston should be a blast. Boston's massive favorites, they ought to be. They're just deeper. Mm-hmm. But Indiana's going to score a point. You're not stopping them from scoring points. But I don't know how much Indiana can stop Boston. Did Oklahoma City have a successful season?
Yes.
Won 57 games, was the 1 seed. Got beat by Dallas. It's a successful season because why?
They took another step. I'll be the first. Like everybody talks about, the Gobert trade. Where are all those people now? I was the guy wondering what the Thunder were doing for years. When it's we'll take that second round pick. We'll take accumulating all these picks. And
hand up. I'm with you. I heckled him. It's just Presti's a genius. Cool, second round picks.
And the trade for Shea. I love them going back to Kentucky. I remember talking to Laura Rutledge. She was covering an SEC tournament that year, and I was like, hey, we got to get somebody from Kentucky on the show with Scott. What do you think? She's like, Shea is incredible. She's like, this kid has something, leadership quality, isn't this huge, outspoken guy, but his teammates love him.
We didn't get him, did we? He's never been on our show.
No. They ended up losing, I think, early in that tournament.
Rut. Laura, help us out. Get us the digits. Get Shea on. Go ahead.
No, but that's a long time ago. Then it goes to the Clippers. Then it's the CP3 trade. So it I think it is. I know how passionate that fan base is. As good of a building as there is in the NBA when it's right, but everybody was right about their flaws. It's a trade deadline. They don't get a big. What kills them in this series? The team they're playing went out and got 2 bigs that were huge, and they drafted Lively, who I'm a Duke fan. I did not see this from this kid in the NBA. I thought He had a lot of work to do with his game, but then you see the way he could just play. And Luka and Kyrie are so good at getting other guys involved, and that's the difference in the series for me.
Yep.
You got Chet trying to play the 5. He's not there yet.
OKC desperately. I mean, the good news is I agree. Let me just say, I agree with you as a success. When you're the one and you get beat before a conference final round, is it successful? They're the youngest team there is.
Mm-hmm.
They won 57 games. They're not going anywhere. And they can look at this tape and go, a big would be helpful.
Yeah.
And I mean like a big. Doesn't have to be great, just like a big human. Someone that can get a rebound.
Space eater.
A rebound. Dallas just played volleyball at the rim and what's nuts, remember when we would watch a lot of Wizards games because they're like a mile from where we sit here in D.C. Not great. And we'd watch them and I'd ask Legs, I'm like, how many professionals are even on this team? And he'd be like, I love Gafford. And we're like, totally agree.
Yeah.
Tries, plays hard, does valuable things. It just doesn't matter to this team. He's not a difference maker on a bad team. You get a guy from the Wizards and a guy from the Hornets. P.J. Washington and Gafford. And are they the reason Dallas won? In a way, because they had things that the Thunder didn't have.
Yeah, they played their roles.
And Lively, no, we didn't see that at Duke, but he didn't play with Luka and just say, hey, listen, we're going to go high screen and roll, and I'm going to throw a lob to the square and go get it. And Luka's the best lob passer there is. And that trio did huge damage. I just want to go back to Shea and say this. What an absolute pro and leader and adult you have, and a guy that sits there afterwards and just says, man, that sucks, and that's on me. Like, nah, dude. You had 36 on 14 of 25 in a game 6 you had to have, threw a sick alley-oop to Chet to give you the lead. And then he says, hey, I didn't think I fouled him, but then I looked at it, I got him. And he did. He fouled him. And it really is an unsatisfying end to that game, in particular because the shot making on each end was insane. Just remarkable high-level hoop execution. And you don't want it to end that way, but a foul's a foul, and you have to call it, and they did. And they
challenged, right?
Yes, and that was really, 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 in retrospect, I don't know why you challenge it.
That's what I was thinking.
What's the upside? I mean, I guess if it's not a foul, then you're up one. They got to, like, I get it. But if you're wrong, now he goes to the line with 3 chances to make 2, and if he makes the first 2 and they rattle around, well, now he can miss, and you've got to get a shot in 3 seconds, which they actually did.
Yeah.
But I'd much rather just eat it and say, all right, let's call timeout and see what can happen. And 2.9 is a lot in the half. If you
no doubt
half court, a
no
lot,
doubt. No doubt.
But he was an absolute leader, played great. Took ownership of a mistake that isn't a mistake. I mean, you and I talked about it. You say, what do you think their scout was on threes?
Don't jump. Pump fake. Don't go for it. Stay on your feet.
And that moment, human nature just takes over. Just takes over, man.
No doubt.
Like whatever you were told to do, like I there's no chance I'm not going in the air on this because I'm going to challenge. And he almost did it. He almost managed to contort his body, get his hand on the ball, which he did, but then his hand hit his arm. But I just think you can't ask for more than that in a guy as a player and then as a leader afterwards. And I'm with you. It's a successful year. It's a disappointing end. You know what you have to do. You have to just go find some beef that can prevent the other team from getting as many offensive rebounds as Dallas got.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the year, I asked our researchers, how many games is OKC on ESPN? And it was like 2. And I was like, that's a joke because this guy and what he's bringing to this team and what they have, Chet could stay healthy, the whole thing. Like I remember betting him at MVP like 3 weeks into the season. I love watching that team play.
You were early.
Fun.
You were early on them for sure.
And I just hope people got to appreciate it now. Now you got to take the next step. You got the 1 seed, so you could did it. It was crazy how the end of the season laid out. And then people were saying Dallas was the benefit. Legs were saying the last 3 weeks of the year, I don't want to see Dallas on my side of the bracket because of what those 2 guys could do. It's a credit to the Mavs. I didn't think they could pull through and do it. But again, they made the moves right there. They got health. Guys have stayed healthy. Luka's out there Obviously dinged up, but everybody is this year. I was really impressed with Towns last night. Could have sat out for a little bit with that weird collision in the knee. Gets back in there and D's up on Jokic. So I think somebody said no one cares. It might have been Michael Malone, just about injuries.
No, they don't.
It's like no one cares. Get out there and play. And credit to the Mavs and the Wolves. That was really, really impressive.
Luka Doncic is awesome. I love his skill set. I love his vision. I love his passion. Someone could help him immensely if they just put together a mixtape and said, look, I just want you to see you. I just want to see who you are, how you project, and ask, is that what you want to be? Because he's so demonstrative in his expressions and his whining. Like a lot of people in the league complain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unique to him, but he's first team All NBA. Sour face at the refs, side eye the refs, complain to the refs. He's given was it Tony Brothers that he was given asking I think that's who it was. Yeah. Gives him the praying hands, and he's got so much respect as a player because he's one of the best in the NBA. It's just the ancillary stuff that it doesn't do him any favors. And maybe the answer to this is, look, Van Pelt, this is that's what makes me great, and you're just going to have to tolerate, huh?
You got to eat it.
Okay, and I'm sure he doesn't give up what I think. I just watch it, and I just think that it's almost like it has to subliminally impact the way he gets officiated, and it's just not. It doesn't help. I say this as a guy, and this is probably shocking to you. I wasn't a great player, but I was a great talker, and I would definitely bitch a lot. So maybe I see something in myself that I think maybe I could have been better a long time ago. I don't know. He's great. Dallas fans, hear me say this. You know I'm right, by the way. You can't watch it and go, no. What you miss about all of that whining and sour face is that I don't miss anything. There's no explanation for that. He's great. Kyrie's been awesome. And it's been interesting. Durant and Kyrie go to Brooklyn, and it doesn't work. Harden's just bouncing around it here, there. Don, I want to be here. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. Didn't work in Brooklyn. And I think Kyrie's been through plenty. Mm-hmm. And when he got traded to Dallas, you see those two, and you put the graphic together, Luka, Kyrie, and you're like, how's this going to work? Who does what when? Do I give it to you and then I get out of the way and just watch you create? You got to figure that out. 2 years in, good for him for finding a place where he seems happy, he seems content, and he's great, and he's a pro, and he's a leader. That, I didn't know if that chance would come again, because I think sometimes, with Durant, you just wonder, what is it you're looking for? What's the place you're looking for? And will you find a place where you're content, which allows you to be the best that you can be? And Kyrie's clearly found that, in my opinion, in Dallas. Mm-hmm. Do they beat Minnesota in this series?
I just want to see the matchup. I don't.
That's what I've been trying to figure out.
I don't think so. The Luka dynamic, man. You got to have some girth to you.
It's a big fella. He's going to put his body on you, man. That caboose is going to work.
And how much energy does Ant? We saw what Ant did to Jamal Murray. This is a totally different deal. About how, because I think he's a different level type of scorer and gets you uncomfortable, whether it's on a hip or he's always got the fadeaway available. The matchup's in great. I think the Wolves bigs will be the difference because I think they're better than the Mavs bigs, and the Mavs bigs have been fantastic. But to your Mavs point, real quick, I was just irate at them last year when they tanked at the end of the year and didn't want to make the playoffs.
That was pretty poor.
That was brutal to me, but hey, you fast forward and now they're in the conference finals. And that's 2 out of the last 3 years they've made it. Yeah, the Warriors
2 of 3.
That's
you talk about the best and needing to. I mean, this is more sort of, I guess, and I'm not knocking morning shows, but we don't do a whole lot of the legacy have to do this or that kind of thing. But for Luka at some point in NBA Finals, that's the next obvious step, right? Ant's early in the progression. So is Luka when you think about it. But we talked about this a little bit like with the golf, which we're going to get to. Like a guy like Tom Kim, he's 21 years old, but he's played in 4 PGAs already. A guy like Luka feels like he's got to be 32. Like
correct.
Kyrie's 32. Luka's still a really young guy, but it's just when it comes to taking the next step and being, becoming whatever it is we want you to be, a finals trip makes sense. But either way, what we get here is I can't get my legs comfortable. I can't figure out how to sit. And we're on TV now, so now I'm all jacked up about what I'm supposed to do. This is comfortable, but I don't think it's a flattering look. But for those of you listening, none of you care. What was I saying? I was thinking about. Oh, you were talking about new blood. We're getting new blood.
Hell yeah.
Boston favored to play somebody new. So if it's Boston, Minnesota, you get Ant. If it's Boston and Luka and Kyrie, you get that dynamic. So, I don't know, fun finals. Either way, probably.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
I refuse to just pencil Boston in without a fight because Indiana has showed that they're going to fight. I don't think they can win 4 games in 7 against Boston.
No.
I also don't think it's going to be easy for Boston to win games. Even if they...
6?
Yes. Ish.
Wow.
Even if it's 5, I think they're going to be hard fought. I think Indiana is just... They just score too easily to make it easy. Like you can lock up a team that has limited scoring options and you're going to win because Boston's got more scoring options than you.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana, and they're not necessarily like superstar names. Like you're not looking at the guys and you're going, oh, Tatum, Brown, and like White. Do people see White as a star? They should, based on what he is. Oh, and then there's Horford. He's been through this a billion times.
No one talks about Holiday.
Agreed.
He's been one of maybe the best acquisition. And all right, Halliburton, let's see.
Like comfortable in his role, knows exactly who he is. Speaking of pros, an absolute pro there.
Love him.
That's the depth we're talking about. That I don't know. I think. Remember what I said last series about Dallas? I said I'm looking at Dallas again.
Okay.
I'm looking at Dallas because again, I love Luka as a player. The other stuff drives me nuts. I just could just by 25%, can we reduce this? Can we stop complaining before the first TV timeout?
Oh no.
Make it because it'll be more impactful if you just sit on dry powder for the complaining. I don't think that's going to work. We got a Game 7 tonight. Bucci Grass in Vancouver. I don't want to upset all my friends in Vancouver. I don't know if I know anyone in Vancouver. I'm rooting for Edmonton just because I like watching them play more.
Hater.
Why has it got to be that? Why can't I just say I watch McDavid and Draisaitl skate around. You watch Bouchard unleash 900-mile-an-hour slappers from the blue line. I don't know. I
have no idea what to expect in this game.
I agree with that.
But I think I'm more fired up for tonight than I was yesterday's games.
You're more fired up for a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup than you were the 2 Game 7s in the NBA.
Yeah.
And this just goes back to why 2 guys that have never put skates on in their life are so infatuated by the Stanley Cup playoffs.
9 Eastern.
Say again?
9 Eastern.
Bang.
ESPN.
If this comes out on a Monday, I think we're gonna get this one out. Shout out to the
pressure's on people behind the scenes.
Folks from Omaha are GSD have Pia. They have
what do they have?
What is it?
Mimu Lee.
Oh, that's great. What is it when you have an advanced degree? What is it? GSDs get shit done. They have an advanced degree in GSD. The Omaha people.
There we go. Got it out.
Florida's going to beat the Rangers.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Bang.
Hockey Insider. I just think they have more options to score the puck. More goal scoring.
Pucks on nets.
Something like that. Cycling. I just think that I think it just feels like you're bound to end up with like Florida, Dallas, 2 markets that like not exactly original 6. But I just am rooting for Coach Maurice. I think he's one of my favorite coaches in sports.
There you go.
He loves
just
to
say that.
It's not that I don't.
Give me the floor check game and all that. Just
poke check, Steve. Like poke check. No, I just like Coach Maurice.
There you go.
Because he loves to cuss and he's good at it. That's what he said. Apparently, we can't say the F word. It gets beeped on here. I was told we could cuss.
Say it. It's test.
Fuck.
There you go.
Did you beep it? Or do you just drop the thing entirely? I was told you could say it. Paul Maurice says it a lot. And as he said, fuck, I'm good at it. I love that guy. He's awesome.
He is.
Those are two really good teams. Ranger fans, you got that. You're down like just a week ago. You're like, you're gonna have the Garden until June, baby, and you might still have it till June. But Florida's they're kind of a bit of a wagon there. I don't got anything else for you. I don't have any more poke.
Let's get to the good stuff.
No poke check talk. Louisville, what's up?
Oh,
what a week.
Weather.
Yep.
Off the course, on the course, early mornings.
Ay.
Let's start there.
Okay. What would you like to know?
I want to know this.
Yep.
You mentioned how you were an asshole when you played, say, intramurals.
Anything.
Right?
Anything. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't the nicest guy. Would you rather referee college intramural basketball games or
get up before 6 a.m. every day for work?
I'll ref anything. I'll rec travel baseball with the worst parents in the world, all of whom think that their kid's going to go to some SEC school to play baseball.
How much do you hate getting up before the sun's up?
We exist in a nighttime space.
Yeah.
We're night owls.
Oh.
Shout to the former mayor of D.C., Marion Barry. I'm a night owl. He got in trouble a little bit. We just work late at night. I'm a night owl. So
I am too.
Let's just say a 5:30
pickup.
Any wake-up call that starts with a 5 is inhumane to people like us. Shout to the people that work for a living and get up before the sun comes up. I will say this. When you get up before the sun comes up, you're like, hey, we're going to make something of this day, huh? We got all of it in front of us. We got wide open spaces. I got a lot of runway here. We're going to make this day count. But then I think, how about I roll over and we wake up a little later? We're on ESPN Plus. Now, Thursday, Friday, I get it. You've got Thursday, like you had everybody and their mama out there playing on ESPN Plus. So you get up and you're like, all right, here we go.
Got the juice.
It does. Now, on Sunday, when we're up at 5-something, to come on at 7:45 from my man Alejandro Tosti.
Love Tosti.
Tosti drove the par 4 13th. He's about this big.
He told us he loved the course.
He did. He's a fiery dude. I love a guy like that because, again, it's like me. Like, in golf, like the mics pick up stuff, and then a lot of times, the announcers will feel like we apologize for the language. I never do. I just go, well, that's golf. If you play it, you said it. Seriously. Brian Harmon went nuts. Missed a putt. Everybody makes fun of Tyrrell Hatton. He's always like, that's you. That's me. I don't have any problem. Cuss all you want. Again, shout out to Coach Maurice. I don't understand what we're doing at 7:45 on Sunday, but we're here to provide coverage of the event. We love covering the event. Hat tip to Seth Waugh, the CEO of the PGA of America, Kerry Haig, the guy that sets up the golf courses. If you're a person that doesn't love low scores under par, did you not like the theater? We'll get to that. But just back to the early morning, when the alarm goes off, I have a routine. Like I sit up and I kind of grunt, and I'm leaning on the edge of the bed, and I'm just thinking I can do this. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, all right, all I got to do is let's just slide off. Just got to slide off this bed, and then I can work my way in there, brush the teeth, and shower. You shower before you brush your teeth?
Brush my teeth in the shower.
What?
Yeah.
What are you, in prison?
More time in the shower.
What? Like, you brush your teeth and turn the shower on.
I wake up, I want to get in the shower. That's the first thing I do every day.
No, I want to brush my teeth to get that taste out of my mouth.
Oh,
how about the nicer the hotel, the harder it is to figure out how to turn on the shower?
Oh, I was going to get to this.
Like, can we
Why do we have 2 knobs?
Why? Some of them have like 4. Can I just have a knob that I pull out old school style and there's an H and a C and I turn it in that direction? What? Like, I get it. It's a nice hotel. Cool. Can I can't. Someone needs to come here and show me what to do.
I did figure out a hack. Remember I had a
shower hack?
I had a rant last year, like how small the mats are when you get out of the shower.
Yes.
Like in a hotel, it's getting worse and worse. It feels like a paper towel now. Now, with all the towels they give you, use one of the big ones.
Bang.
Lay it down.
Just cover the whole floor.
It took me 47 years to figure it out.
We're bigger guys. I mean, it's gonna get sloppy in there.
Yeah.
Especially with this guy in there brushing his teeth. You shave in the shower?
No.
What's the difference? You want more time in the shower?
You got to see.
That's fair.
I'm
a toothbrusher first, then shower. Once I figure out the Pythagorean theorem of like turn this. Oh, that one's turning on a little nozzle over there. But wait, is it cold? It's hot. It's cold. Anyway, the getting up process is a chore, and we start early, Bubba.
Yeah,
early. ESPN Plus with you all day. At some point, I was going to get to this. I'm going to get to this right now. The whole Friday deal. Mm-hmm. First of all, it starts with a tragic situation, as a man that was coming to work the event is struck and killed by a shuttle bus, which leads to a police investigation as they sort out what has happened, which is far more important than a golf tournament. A byproduct of that is it creates this traffic situation in the middle of the pouring rain and the pitch black. And the Scottie Scheffler situation happens, and we can get to that too. I just want to just say a tip of the cap to our crew. Mm-hmm. Nobody that works on our crew wants a ribbon for doing their job. It's our job to do our job. But led by a man named Mike McQuaid, who produces the event and is just he's Marty Smith said it great. He said he's the best producer in the company, he's the best leader in the company. Both those things were required on Friday. All right? Because at whatever time it was in the morning, before 7 o'clock, this situation with Scheffler happens.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. He's getting arrested. And then we just happened to have boots on the ground in Jeff Darlington, who's, I believe, with Dave Fleming and Bob Wischusen coming in to do the coverage. I did the early Thursday. I was going to do later morning on Friday, so I'm not there. These guys are there. They spring into action. Jeff Darlington's the one reporting it, tweeting out this video. And then from that moment when he's breaking this news, quite literally, throughout the entire morning, all the way through the afternoon and into the evening when we played until the sun went down and the golf wasn't finished. And I just want to tip the cap to the group to say, I don't believe anyone else in sports television has the infrastructure or the leadership or the boots on the ground that's equipped to do what our group did, which is break that news, cover that story. Jeff Darlington was tremendous going on SportsCenter, Get Up, First Take, and oh, by the way, you're covering the second round of the 106th PGA Championship all day long. So the group is on television for 14 consecutive hours. And, much was made about what didn't happen from other networks. And look, I'm not here to bash any other people. I started the Golf Channel. I'll always love that place. What anyone else did or didn't do, to me, is of no consequence as it relates to what our group did. Mm-hmm. And I'm just proud to be a part of that group. You know it, Steve. You've been with us for a number of years. It's a tremendous, selfless group.
Yep.
Darlington, I thought, was awesome. Marty Smith does a tremendous job of being present. He's got great relationships with everybody, asking the questions you're trying to figure out. And everyone's trying to figure this out in real time. What's happening? Scottie Scheffler, he's in jail. Mm-hmm. Scottie Scheffler's in jail? Is he getting out? What happened? There's a thing with, did he pull a cop? I mean, and there's versions of stories that each person seems to have, and none of them seem to be the same, and they all kind of saw it. But the ability to do that, Dave Fleming, who is a gifted broadcaster, is in the chair trying to make sense of something that no one has any idea what's going on. But this group's equipped to do it. And I'm just proud to be a part of that group. And I don't know who else in TV could have done it and covered the breaking news and covered the 14 hours of golf simultaneously the way the group did. And it's, each man and woman that did do your job. Everybody did.
Yeah.
And they did it all day long. By the end of the day, when we're on ESPN2, the group gets a little punchy. You've been at it for 14 hours. I don't know if any of it made any sense by the end of the day. The Friday happy hour has gotten to be kind of ridiculous. It gets a little loose.
A little loose?
Loose on the deuce.
There you go.
Feels like it should be.
You in charge, calling the shots?
Sort of. I feel like we should just brand that. We huddle up with our friends in the PGA of America. Just call it get loose on the deuce, the last hour and change of the PGA on Friday. But it was a hell of a day. It's hard to know how much of the Scheffler thing you discussed because it seems based on what the intel you hear that this is all getting dropped on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't want to bore people with this, but I don't know if do you think the context of being at all these events is worth trying to share, just to kind of try to give people an idea of just why this happens?
Yes.
The tragedy is first and foremost, and that's awful. The traffic fiasco happens at every major I've ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been now, it's not 100, but it's more than 50. Whatever it is. It's 75 majors I've been to covering golf in my doing this for all these years. What invariably happens is it's a big event. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we got a traffic plan. Everyone's sort of on the same page. Invariably, happened last year at Oak Hill in Rochester. Thursday or Friday, somebody decides, nope, we're changing the traffic flow. No one knows the plan. Half the volunteers know, half the cops know. The players and the media don't know. Nobody knows what to do. And so what happened on this Friday in the rain and the pitch black with this tragic situation is now apparently they changed the traffic flow and no one knows what to do. And so the players and the officials were told, you can come in
breakdown lane.
You can come through the breakdown lane to come in here. That's what they were told. But has that been communicated to the people on the ground?
Evidently not.
Now, the people that are the volunteers that are out there, and everyone's in these yellow ponchos, so there's no way to differentiate between the police and the volunteers because they're all wearing the same thing. And so if you're Scottie Scheffler, and this is where you see people say, well, you should have just listened to the cop. Well, as someone that's been there a million times, I'll tell you why if it were me, I wouldn't have listened because I don't know that it's a cop, and I'm pretty sure you're wrong because they told me to go in here. And by the way, we're not on the highway. We're parking. Mm-hmm. I'm taking a left from a stopped position and just going into the parking lot. That's all that's happening here. And they told me to do it. You didn't get the memo. I presume you're a volunteer or you're helping with the parking, and you're just wrong. It isn't your fault. Mm-hmm. It's no one's fault, but I know what I'm supposed to do because this is what they told me to do. So he pulls off, and now apparently the police officer, according to the account of the police report, is hanging onto the car and is dragged to the ground. And now Scottie Scheffler's arrested. And people wake up around the country to this and like, wait, what? That's what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you're piecing this together, and you got this text thread. And the first thing I'm thinking is, well, get in touch with the guy Mike McQuaid, who our leader that I was just saying, like, what can I do to come in and help? But again, thankfully, they had everything buttoned up because Fleming's great, and all the people I mentioned that are great, and they were good. But I'm coming in. What can I do to help? Is Scheffler going to be able to play? Like, wait, is he in trouble? He dragged the cop down? I can't believe that. Like, it was the headline that I thought I was being, but then I see a text from my wife. She's like, why'd Scottie Scheffler get arrested? I'm like, this is a real thing.
Mm.
You were there that morning?
Yeah, I was on my way in. Marty Smith and I were on the way in. He's trying to figure out where is he going. He's like, am I going to the police department? Like, what? We don't know. We don't know what the next step is. We saw him in the cop car. We saw him. We knew he was headed to the police station. Is he going to play? And we're trying to get information, but those guys are going on the air, and it was Marty and I got to the compound, and boom, we all went our different ways, and it was crazy to see it shake out. Our office is right next to the range, and you see everybody talking like, what's going to happen? Then the ruling comes out. If it's extraordinary circumstances, they won't move the tee time, but you still can't get a word if Scottie's trying to play.
No one knows.
He's in a cell at the police department, and I'm sure, numerous people at high levels are trying to, figure it all out. So it was as chaotic a deal. And again, to that crew with Mike, calling the shots and not knowing what's going to happen and still providing and keeping people updated was incredible to see that thing work.
And by the way, there's a major championship round that's going to start happening that you're covering and do for the entire day as well. So you're doing both things simultaneously, all being let out of a truck in a gravel parking lot in a field in Kentucky. Like, you're not in your studios. It's just maybe I'm wrong. Maybe every network could have done it. I don't believe they could have, and it doesn't matter who could have done it. I just know our group did do it, and I'm proud to be part of the group. The storyline, like, it's wild. Like, my brother was a cop. I have great appreciation for the stress level of being a cop and how, like, there are real life circumstances that are beyond anything you or I would have the balls to face. Mm-hmm. So nothing but respect for the men and women who protect and serve. And Scottie said the same. It seems this situation got far beyond what it had to. It seems, and it seems to have been a massive miscommunication.
That's what I was going to say.
And had it been me, I'd have gone, because I would have presumed, just like I did last year in Rochester, no, this is the way we go. I promise we're allowed to go this way. I promise. I get it. I'm just going to park.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not driving 70 in a 55. I'm going 2 miles an hour to go park my car at the instruction of the people running the tournament. And you don't know that because no one has communicated that. And on top of it, there's this horrible thing that has happened. It started the whole day, and everybody's on edge because of that.
It's a misunderstanding because of a lack of communication, because sadly there was a fatality.
Right.
And when you have that, you have people coming from the outside that are just trying to clean up the situation. They don't even regard the event that's going on.
And nor should they.
Fatality happened right at the entrance of the event. So it's everybody, like you said, PGA says they sent out a thing here to the players and caddies, and then we have communication for our end. Hey, here's what you got to do to get in the compound. It obviously didn't get out to the people that were calling the shots outside of the entrance, and
surreal.
There you have it.
Surreal.
Yeah.
And again, I mean,
and the conditions, like it rained nonstop. There was about a 48-hour window where it's like, good, are they going to be able to play?
Right.
You got the hour and a half delay. Then what was it? Sunday we had a delay. With the
fog delay, Saturday.
Saturday.
It's hard. No,
everything runs into each other.
Yeah, you just wake up and
get out of bed.
It's Sunday morning. Yeah, you get out of bed.
I started timing myself, like how long a shower takes to get as many minutes sleeping in bed as possible, so I could literally go downstairs. And that's the other thing. I'd given up coffee. I had to drink coffee in the morning on this trip.
That's fine.
Had it in like 5 months.
Shout out to Boomer, the legendary Chris Berman. Story goes years ago, U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, very early mornings, very late nights, because you're covering an event that starts when the sun comes up and ends when the sun goes down. So, boom, wake-up calls coming early. Boom, I shaved before I went to bed. Get to sleep on the back end. The Tao of Boomer. So I get a note from Boomer, as we always do ahead of majors, giving us an attaboy. And I told Boom I shaved my head before I went to bed. Get to sleep on the back end. Just little lessons from Boomer. And let me tell you, it doesn't help because here's the thing. All these playoff games we're talking about, what are you going to go to bed? I missed the double overtime Stars win over.
Yeah, I had to tap out that night.
I tried, baby. I tried. Yes. Stars, I tried. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see if you got there or not. Had to wake up and find. I mean, at some point, you just the little engine that could can't. That's not as good a children's book. The little engine that couldn't. I think because we got to wake up and do.
Just make sure you set your alarm.
Here on the first tee, it's Alejandro Tosti to 12. It's fun out there. And as for the golf, God, we like rambling on and on and on, having even talked about the event we were at. Starts on a Monday, great walk with Gary Woodland, Brooks Koepka, DJ. Awesome. Great crew. Start doing your intel, figuring some stuff out.
Yeah.
How to walk on Wednesday. It's a tradition. We walk with Max Homa.
Mm-hmm.
Scottie Scheffler was in that group. You know, do your intel in the back nine, try to, because we're calling the holes. You want to have some idea of where can you hit it, where don't you hit it. It's just such a blast. Like Jeff Darlington, when it was done, he's like, "Wait, you're out there throwing Brooks's golf balls back to him so he can putt somewhere." I'm like, well, "Yeah, it's just you just try to help out." And he's like, "This is insane."
Yeah,
like no, that's just what we do. Mm-hmm. I'm like, now, no disrespect. Like I don't know do you know Brooks? Because if you don't, like they wouldn't. But he wants to talk Panthers.
Absolutely,
you know, like
Florida State.
Exactly. We just chop it up, and it's such a great way to prepare for an event. It's unlike any other thing there is.
No doubt. The access we have are so spoiled. Those guys, like you said, those guys are awesome. You leave walking 9 holes with those guys. All right, who's down on the range? Hey, Georgia guys that are down there. Keith Mitchell, Harris English, whatever. Jordan Spieth down there. We're talking, and it's just you taught me early when a guy's grinding and doesn't want to say hello, and then there's the time always that. And it's 90%, 99% of the time. Hey, what's up? They give you 2 minutes.
To your point, I saw Jordan. He was grinding on. He was working on his driver, and I'm standing just behind, and I was just waiting to step in and say what's up. And it's obvious when someone is at work. Like if I walked into any of your offices out there that are listening, and you're in the middle of a meeting, it would be evident to me. And I obviously wouldn't barge in and say, "What's going on? You want to go to Pizza Hut for the salad personal pan and a salad buffet, like the Mobilecom days for Van Pelt, mid-'90s? No, okay. But if the door's open and you're not doing anything, and you say, "Hey, what's up?" I'll walk in and sit down and we'll chit chat. Well, the range is the perfect place for that.
Yeah.
But you figure it out. And then once, hey, you guys walking the first? All right, we walk with you? Yeah, let's go. And it was Gary Woodland actually told me something that helped me because he's like, I said, look, because after Darlington said this, I'm like, I've been doing this for forever. I know these people. I know the answer, but I'm like, just make sure we're never in the way. He's like, what are you kidding? He's like, we're talking sports the whole day. It makes the work go faster. So thank you. Like, okay, no, we're happy to help, but it made me just reassess. Are we a little too casual with this access? But these are people we know, and we know what to do and what not to do, and it's great prep for the event. I sent a text to Xander, and I was like, you know what I realized? It's the first time we haven't walked with you.
I know.
And you won. I said, we'll never bother you again. we every year you've been doing this, we've walked at some point with Xander. This year we didn't, and he won a major. So Xander, when he sees me and Stanford Steve, and will just put his head down and say, no thanks. I was psyched for him.
Oh.
He told Marty, he just kept telling himself to walk through the fire.
That's what his dad told him.
How about that?
That's and knowing the success, I mean, in his career, I mean, our research team does a great job. That week 2 or day 2 recap, the first thing I read that stuck out, he was 1-6 in his life after 36 holes. And to me, it's the lazy thing to do. Be like, oh, Xander's going to blow it on Sunday. Like, I root for that guy because I want to see him get the job done. And he's been there so many times. Consistency of being a ball striker, that guy is as good as anybody. You saw that on – how about the break he gets in 17 where it goes in the bunker?
Yeah.
Like, he murdered that drive, and he's still got to get up and down on 17.
And he does.
And you know what is coming on 18.
And then the stance he has in that on the bunker off of 18.
You got that shot?
I don't.
You go practice that one when you go hit balls next time?
I don't. I just hit wedges.
You don't put your feet in the sand.
No, I just hit smooth wedges to make myself feel really good about my game. Just hit smooth.
Smooth 4-iron?
Nope. 56 degree, baby. Just ball flight's great. Little soft, little right to left. No, I don't have either of those. But when he had to have his best, he did. And I think winning that way, and again, having gone to all these zillion majors, I can't tell you how many times me and Andy North on a Sunday after someone wins, you say, what's this mean moving forward? And the tendency is to want to say, well, this just means that this so-and-so is going to win a bunch more majors. I don't say that anymore. You know why? Because winning one is really, really difficult. Xander shot 62 on Thursday. Ties a major championship record. Refuses to say anything other than, hey, it's one day. He led from start to finish.
Second time he's done that in his life, too.
You're right.
It's crazy.
But he had to get up and down on 17. He had to get up and down on 18. And he had to do that to beat Bryson DeChambeau, who was awesome. DeChambeau
got very fortunate
on the tee shot on 16.
Yeah.
That's a mile into the schmutz, and it kicks off the top of a tree. But that's golf, man.
No, I was just saying, the day before, I'm walking with Max Jordan and Cam Smith. Max hits the same thing, a bomb off the tee box on that's 16. And he hits those same trees, and you know what it did? It stayed on a hill about 25 feet up underneath the trees. So he literally has to punch out
Billy Goat
sideways 10 yards. And then to see Bryson get that, I just thought – Bryson, the par fives on the front, or I should say, what was it, 6 and 7 and 10?
There you go.
He pars.
Yep.
Like, that's where I was like, okay, I don't know if he has that gear. But then he gets the birdie on 18, and all the pressure's on.
The thing about the break is in life you might get a break.
Yeah.
What do you do with it? He stuffs it in there and makes the birdie. And frankly, the guy he was playing with, I told David Duval when we were leaving, going off the air at 1 o'clock, I said, do you feel like the winner comes out of the last group? And he said, I do. And I said, I got my eye on that Hovland-DeChambeau group. Hovland, he probably should have won based on just he had a putt on 17, inside 15 feet. It just misses. He's got a putt on 18 to tie, and he just misses. And then he missed the comebacker, which at that point doesn't make any difference in the grand scheme. He doesn't need the money. That's the difference between second and third, whatever. But and this is a guy who goes back to his swing. He was great last year. At the end of last year, he won the playoff and was playing better than anybody. And then he decides he needs to try to get better. Guys in golf do that, and I never know why. I used to argue with Tiger. I'm like, you don't have to do anything but wake up and keep doing what you're doing. Keep working on the things you're working on. He's like, you can always get better. I'm like, well, you don't have to do something different. Just do what you're doing. You have to wake up every day and be Tiger Woods. That's it. Nah, that's not it. Yes, it is. Victor Hovland didn't need to do anything but be Victor Hovland. Goes back to his swing coach, and boom, he's right there with a chance to win. But he and DeChambeau were awesome. And ultimately, Schauffele, he gets in that goes halfway around the hole and drops. And I think the relief you saw on his face, it's joy and
what you said, relief.
And that's the bitch of this sport at that level. To be that close that often, and in that moment, which should be the most joy-filled moment of your life, you more than anything, you just thank God I finally did it. But now that he had, and now that he's done it that way, now same way Morikawa, who just couldn't make a birdie all day. Next time you're in that spot, you don't have to wonder, do I know how to do it?
Am I doing something wrong? I
talked to Danny Hurley about that this year. Like I said, when you win a title, you're a better coach moving forward because now you don't doubt that what you're doing is right. He said 100%. And that's you put it perfect, Steve. I think for these guys that haven't quite gotten there, I guess you think, well, there must be something I'm not doing. No. It's just hard as shit to win these things, man. And so if you put yourself there enough, maybe your time presents itself. And then when the time, I saw a thing on Twitter this weekend of Gino R.E.M. I don't know when it's from. He just said, when fate taps you on the shoulder, you better be ready to say, I'm ready, because it might not do it again. And so it did. I got a putt to win the PGA Championship, and he buries it.
Couldn't be better.
Especially after Gordo gave you a double hammer that didn't quite get there. But I believe we closed with me saying what?
Yeah, you did.
2 for 2 this year, two majors. I mean, it wasn't like I went on a limb, but we did have Scottie at Augusta. We did have Xander here, so the pressure's on. Tell folks about Gordo gripping.
Oh.
It's a TV. I don't know. There's gripping. There's a TV term about grip. There's you get a grip helmet, like it used to be back in the day. If your highlight wasn't going to make the spot, you just they would say you had on a grip helmet because you were freaking out. How hard was he gripping?
There's a difference between intensity and tension.
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh. Yes.
And there's tension because the situation's tight, but then there's also a tension where you're on the wrong side.
The Denver Nuggets, there was tension throughout that third quarter that you could feel it. It got intense because there was tension. Did Gordo have tension?
Gordo was the bad tension. I'll just say it's the bad tension. We're on 50. He's got max top 20. He's hovering around. He hasn't played great. We catch him on 13. Misses a birdie putt. 14. Misses a birdie putt.
Yikes.
15. Great off the tee. Gets it right in there. Birdie putt. We're standing right off the green by the bleachers. Boom. Makes it. Gordo's like, between 14 and 18, we got to play one under the par. We're good. We're feeling great. He's, I think, around right T18, T22.
Right where he
at
needs
that
to be.
spot.
Yep.
Goes to the tee on 16 and hits the shot I just talked about, where he hit it 25 feet up on a hill. Doubles 16, par bogeyed 17, and he ended up birdieing 18. But I said this is going to be a grind. You're going to know early. Didn't get there, and I already saw Gordo getting stuff from people saying I've tailed the last two, and they didn't get there. Double hammers.
Gordo's learning.
12 levels of research.
Say again?
12. He had to check 12 boxes, right?
Yeah.
And that's
well, he told you Xander top 20 was a given, but the price was too high.
Yeah.
So he
wanted plus money.
Kind of gave you that also. But you and I know what Gordo is learning. When you put your name to picks,
yep,
there is a tension There's a stress that is unlike anything else. You had a monster year picking games on SportsCenter with me 2 years ago when I had a great year. We both just destroyed it in all directions. Then you go on game day, start slapping your picks on a fridge with that massive audience, and not very good.
No.
It was and how much does it suck to be on the wrong end of these things?
It's all anyone. They either don't talk to you because they feel bad of your picks,
right?
Or you get the guy in the airport Sunday morning like, "Hey, how'd the picks go?" Knowing that you went 2-2 after starting the year 4-8 and you could never recover. And it's I don't care. It's still fun.
It is good fun, and we need Gordo to remember that. But literally, I would in the 14 hours that we'd be on, any time that Homa would make something, I must have used it. He left a putt short, and I said it. He left the hammer on the utility belt there. Needed to hit it a little harder. And then anytime he made one, I'd said he hammers it home, and I'd look over at Gordo. Max missed a putt at some point for par. I look over at Gordo. Gordo just with his panicked look holds up the tin, gives it a snap, shoves in a dip. Like, if I just put this dip in.
Fresh dip gets you a birdie.
He might have gone lower and upper deck. He was just trying to do whatever he could to get the hammer home. And
he's playing Valhalla today.
Is he?
Yeah. Yep.
That's a big ballpark. I loved it. I get that there are people that are the golf fans that want it to be a grind and 4 or 5 under is great. Okay, but I mean, it's what you want is it to be compelling theater and coming down the back nine like all.
We said it all week.
It's all you want.
That back nine because we walked the front nine Monday and it's like okay, not a lot of
stuff,
adversity.
Not a lot of character. I'll just say it. Like the front nine's kind of like, but the back nine's got a lot of juice.
6 and 7 gets your attention, but then 8 and 9 are doable. I was surprised. I thought the fairway size on the front was way bigger, and then you saw when guys get to 10. I mean, Xander he said it a million times. I would never do that again. Hitting the wood out of the sand. How he hit that clean is insane.
Yeah, but he made bogey. That's where I started thinking, here we go. And he had to think it too.
Yeah.
He started
comes right back on 11 though.
Exactly. I thought that was what won in the tournament. Making birdie in that bounce back, like calm yourself down. You're gonna be all right. But again, a shout to the people. Shout to my friend Seth Waugh, the PGA of America, Kerry Haig, the guys that set it up, the people at Valhalla. It was a blast. Shout to all the people. It's fun being in the South because people say, SVP. SVP. What's going on, y'all? People are awesome. Like, great, massive fans. And it's cool. Like, and listen, I told y'all I'm running for office when I'm down there. I'm not trying to piss it. Look, you see a Louisville card, I'll throw the L up in a second. What's up, y'all? I see Kentucky. Big Blue Nation. Hi, Mark Pope. You guys didn't want him, but he's cooking, isn't he? Come on. What am I going to see, a Louisville fan and go Cats? Or see a Kentucky fan and throw in it? No.
No, they were awesome. The one thing I will say.
They were great. Great people.
I don't want a bourbon.
He's good. Not 2 fingers, not 3 fingers. Certainly not neat.
No. But that's their deal. Hey, want bourbon?
Yeah.
No.
Don't. Nor do I.
I got nothing. Bourbon and cigars. I'm good on both, but you enjoy the hell out of yours.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's it. I'm fine.
I'm not trying to yuck your yum.
No.
Enjoy what you enjoy. I do have one thing I hate.
Oh.
I don't hate you, whoever you are. It's never a person that has a name or a face to it in the social media space. What I hate is the idea that I shouldn't say anyone in TV because I can't speak for anyone other than me and our approach from ESPN when it comes to golf. I don't care if the player is on the LIV Tour or the PGA Tour. I don't care. And what I hate is the suggestion that if you're a fan of Taylor Gooch and we're not showing him when he's 1 over on Sunday, that it's a conspiracy, because it's not.
It's definitely not.
If he hits a great shot, we're going to show it. Dean Burmester, not Burmeister. Are you saying his name wrong on purpose because he's on LIV? No, I'm saying his name the way it was provided to me in the pronunciation guide for the event. You're saying it wrong because of that, and you don't want to mention that he won in Miami. We're showing him all day because he's playing great. And we're going to continue to. DeChambeau all day. He's playing great. I don't give a fuck what tour they play on. And we're going to show them. And I hate this. The only people that have the appetite for this fight right now are the live bots, or maybe you're real people. You never have a name or a face. It's just an account. And if you love that tour, that's awesome. I'm friends with all the guys that are out there. Again, we walked with Koepka and DJ on Monday. These are you think I put my hand up to this? Like, don't look at them. They're on the other tour. I don't work for the PGA Tour. We don't cover PGA Tour events. We cover the Masters and the PGA Championship. Those are majors, not PGA Tour events. Like, I covered a couple of majors. I got a bunch of friends that are out there. I don't care. We just want to show the good golf that's good golf. And the thing about a golf tournament is that there are 150 some odd people playing, and we can only show one shot at once. And there are. If you want to say, well, we don't need to see Tiger, he's 8 over, I'm afraid you don't get it.
Yeah.
I can't help you there. We're going to show the guy that's won 15 majors who has the biggest gallery even when he's playing poorly because he moves the needle. But I have no appetite for the fight that you guys seem to have that I just don't think exists, at least from our chair. There's zero conversation among any of our folks to not show anyone based on what tour they're on. We show Brooks all day. He's awesome. You know what tour he plays on? It's Live.
They showed DeChambeau on the range watching Xander.
Right. Well, I mean, that was just great theater. But I don't hate the people because I don't really know that they are real people. But I hate the suggestion that from our perspective, and again, I can only speak to me. And I mentioned the wins on the Live Tour because if you won, it's worth mentioning that you won, just for the context. But I did have one particular person that sent just in a horribly profane thing where he called me because this was some tough guy, and he, I don't know if I could say these words, but it's a P word. It's about a cat because that's what I am, and I was woke because I wouldn't Koepka, something about not showing Brooks Koepka the guy we walked to practice around with, I'm like, and I sent a text back. I don't do the Twitter fights anymore. You and Marcelo helped me there. But I was like, DJ and Brooks would be the first to tell you got to be better than this. And then the really tough person on Twitter that told me what a P word I was, they deleted that tweet.
Oh.
And it was all I could do to say, and I'm that? I'm right here. If you wanted my attention, you got it. I'm happy to just try to help you understand. I sent a note to the Burmester people and say, here's the pronunciation guide. I love to cover golf. I love to cover the majors. A bunch of great players play on that tour. Bryson almost won. He's awesome for golf. I root for him to play well. He did. These guys that are my friends, I root for him to play well. Mm-hmm. I just hate the suggestion that there's a conspiracy against your guy because there's not. I promise you, there's not. At least when we're sitting there.
So you hate not real people. Got it.
I don't know that they're real, and that's where you have to ask yourself. This is always the exchange. Is this even a real human that's pissing me off? Because you're like, come on, let's just talk to each other. I'm just, and I'm willing to tell you. I hear what you're saying because I get it. Because you're apparently your whole life. This is all you do is tweet about this tour, which is an interesting way to go about it. But if you're into it, awesome. Again, you like bourbon? Have bourbon. You love Live? I'm not going to yuck your yum. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to say bourbon sucks until you suck because you like bourbon. And I'm not telling you you're a bad guy for liking a different tour because I don't care. I just want to see great golf. And a number of guys from that tour played well. Cool.
Boom.
That's all I got. I hate the argument, but not the people. Are you really people? We should sit down and talk together. We'd all get along so much better. That's what I got.
Good.
We're not good at the end of interviews or the end of podcasts.
Nope.
Is that it? You got anything?
Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend.
It's coming. Be safe out there.
How many hot dogs are you going to eat?
If I'm somewhere where they've got I think 2's the right number. 3's
the whole weekend?
I'm talking about one session.
I'm talking about the whole weekend. That grill's going to be fired.
The house we're in doesn't have a grill. We're almost, when we get back to the house, I could just tell you we're going to eat so much grilled food that it will break records.
All right.
But I don't know, because I don't want to nuke hot dogs, because then they get split open and it's just, you're holding it, it's like 3,000 degrees. No. Invite me over and fire up the grill. I'll have some dogs with you. Thanks for everybody for being out there. Thanks to the folks again in Louisville. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on sometime probably Tuesday next week. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend.